I put up a story and I got one comment. It was, I think Dusty was warming up on the leg extension, and I put up a story where I was like, we're getting going on legs. And then I got a comment. It was like, all right, enough with the skincare routine, buddy. How old are you supposed to be? Something like that.
What?
And I don't know if I accidentally like, sometimes I use like, you swipe and it goes to like Paris or like Melbourne or like, the different filters on the stories.
Oh, you accidentally did it?
Well, I don't know. Like maybe I just sometimes look at, I just sometimes look at how the colors pop.
Yeah.
But maybe I don't know. Maybe it made me look a little smoother than I'm supposed to look, and it's one of those.
Maybe you're just that smooth. Maybe you're just that fucking smooth.
Maybe
I don't
that's
know.
it.
I don't want to assume anything.
Haters gonna hate. That's all I gotta say.
All those years of growth paid off.
Yeah. The skin elasticity is still high.
Cheers.
Yeah. Okay, remember to like, share, subscribe, comment, and
ring the bell. Oh, I came out the top. Ooh, felt good.
There we go.
Clean and hot.
And that all helps us out a lot. You guys actually don't realize, like, that's just literally how it works. Like, share, subscribe, comment, ring the bell.
Yep.
And it that's how it drives everything on YouTube.
It is.
You can
everybody
sit there and watch all. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if everybody commented on this episode, just to say like, "Hey, I watched the show," whatever. Literally, if everybody did that or commented twice, the show would like double its numbers. It's just the way it works.
Ron's skin would look so clear. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I just choked on my own spit. I choked on my own spit.
Yeah, you're saying impossible.
That was you
things.
drooling at his amazing skincare routine. This amount of wow, that's a lot.
So, hey guys,
Yeah.
I have to ask. So this is like our Saturday kickback episode, right? So we did have a great topic last week, by the way, and we had a lot of people say, "Hey, I think this was one of our better episodes." People really enjoyed that. That said, I wanted to kick back because it's our Saturday episode and ask about your trips, because both of you had a trip, and Ron, you went everywhere, man. So you guys met up, you trained. Tell me all about it.
Yeah. So I had a Mutant on a Mission content gathering trip. So I filmed 3 episodes at 3 different gyms in 3 different cities, and the whole trip was only 4 days long. So it was, pretty hectic. So I flew to Vegas, and I shot an episode of Mutant on a Mission in Dennis Wolf's backyard.
That's
at the
so
Wolf's
cool.
Den. Yeah, and trained with Dennis, and we trained some back out in his backyard. You know what I mean? And I mean, Dennis doesn't go as hard as he used to. He trains, he trains hard, gets in there, pumps it up. So we had some fun, and definitely a bit of a laid back episode because I really wanted to get Dennis to tell us lots of stories.
Yeah,
and he was awesome. Like, remember when we had him on the show? How easy he was.
Yeah.
He's like that in person, he welcomes you into his house, makes you a cup of coffee, you're playing with his dog, like he was really great. So, shout out to him and his wife for, letting us into their house for several hours and taking up space. And, I had the crew with me shooting, the 2 guys that shoot for us, and, Nick and Con, and they're just
cool.
awesome. So, yeah, it was a good time. And, we had a good workout. He's got some cool equipment. He's got all that Gym 80 stuff in the backyard. And he showed it to me. And he knows everything about it because, he knows the company really well. And they put this special paint on it for him. Like, the only thing that's really custom is the paint because it's going to be outdoors, right? So they gave it like, heat, it's not going to, the sun and, the rain and the wind and the sand it's a little more protected from the elements in the Vegas desert there. So it was pretty awesome. He's got a great setup. Super fun, man. Like, what a great backyard. He's got a beautiful pool and you can see the strip miles away. It's like, instead of looking at mountains, he's looking at like the strip, It's kind of got that cool setup. So it was awesome. And man, he looks good. He's like 215 and just completely shredded, like, I don't know, like 5% body fat.
No kidding.
Like,
that's awesome.
Really fucking lean. Yeah. Like, how Dennis was always just kind of peeled, but it's just he's just in such good shape. So he takes good care of himself, man. And he said his neck's doing way better. Like he was telling me like how like, you know, certain muscles, he feels them better now. Like they're flexing and pumping better because, you know, the neck it's been time. There's been lots of years now since the surgery. So everything's really come back and a lot of feeling has returned. And so I'm, you know, really happy for him that he's so functional and healthy. The only things he's not doing is squatting and deadlifting. That's it. But he can lunge and he can like, you know, fucking train. So he's fine. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And then I hopped on a plane, like straight from his house to the airport, flew to Phoenix. And the next day, Dusty flew in. And the next day we went and trained at his old gym, the Muscle Factory.
No kidding.
And I met Lance, the owner, who's just a great guy. Like, you know, same sort of deal. All these owners that welcome us in are all great. But, you know, Lance really had the gym all ready for us. I think the cleaners just left. Like the cleaners must have gone out the back door with the mops and we came in the front door because like that place was, he knew he like put some effort in, you know, and it looked really great. Maybe it just looks like that all the time. I don't know, Dusty. Is that just how it is?
he is pretty anal about keeping things right, which I always loved because that was always my hang up with hardcore gyms. Is hardcore is not synonymous with dirty to me. Yeah. And that's a thing that a lot of gyms do. They're like, we're hardcore. I'm like, no, I need a tetanus shot. It's not my jam.
You wouldn't like Detroit then. You wouldn't like some of the, I mean, some of them are cleaner, but some of those gyms like behind the leg press, you know, like the bar, like the frame of the leg press that you don't normally see. If you went back there, there's like an inch of dust, you know, on those machines that have never been touched for 20 years now. Like the last handprint was from like Samir Bannout, you know?
Right. Samir was here. It's still written in the dust.
Yeah, exactly.
Samir was here.
With a date.
It's great to see like a hardcore gym that's really like functional and arranged well. And, you know, there was some decent space around all the pieces. It was like there was a good function to that gym. You know, some of the great gyms are a little cluttered, right? You know, and it adds to kind of adds to the character of the gym. You know, you're stepping around stuff, and it's just how it is. And it sort of gives the gym a feel. He had one of those gyms where it was like very like bam, bam, bam. You know, everything's spaced out perfectly, and it looked great. And Dusty came in to train with me. We figured that would be the best way to shoot Muscle Factory. And we did some quads, and it was good. And I didn't want to say too much before we shot, but I had hurt my quad about a month ago.
Oh yeah.
And I had a little pull, right? And I heard like a crunch, and I thought it was going to bruise, and it never bruised, but it was just sore, and I had to take it easy. And I was just doing extensions for a couple of weeks, and just like, you know, wondering, did I tear a few fibers or whatever? Right. So, I was like a little bit like doing quads with Dusty, you know, on camera. So like I got to train hard, you know?
Yeah.
So, but I just said, you know what? It's healed. Like it's been long enough. It's been a month. There was no bruise. I'm fine. Yeah. Let's stretch it out. I gunned it. Dusty had his gun. So I just went hard on it and I stretched it and I warmed it up really good. And I wound up getting out a bunch of great work sets where I actually went to real failure, you know?
Nice.
And so it was good. I did go a little bit lighter and I didn't use my knee sleeves, because I didn't want any artificial support. You know, just in case. Like I thought if I don't wear my sleeves, I'll go a little lighter. Right. And then that's less risk. So I sort of dialed the risk down, but was able to push the intensity up. You know, I like to think there's some wisdom involved in the workout, and we wound up getting a good quad workout. You know, Dusty like 2-plated me and doubled my reps.
Right. Of course. But you expected that.
Aside from that, I think I made some good effort faces, you know.
We don't show the whole thing. Plus, but in fairness, we did. Ron was smart because I hope that they got it in the video. I wasn't sure what they recorded, but like we did extensions. I mean, I think Ron did 5 warm-ups to make sure it was good, and then he went to failure on his first working set and still increased the weight for the second one because he knew it was there, even though he went all the way to failure. So I think it's good to kind of show those things sometimes.
Yeah, just
you wouldn't write a workout that way, but you're playing it out. You know, like is it capable of doing more or not? And then after that, you could tell like he did the same thing on that. We went to a movement that neither one of us had done, and we were both like, all right, just add one more plate because you don't know, like, if you know your leg press, you start with 4 plates, you go to 6, you go to 8, you go to 10 plates per side because it's fine. Some of those weird machines, you add one more plate and it feels like you added 10,000 pounds.
You bury it, yeah.
So, and we were definitely making sure to get the range. I think that was the funniest part training with Ron was he told me before, like, hey, I'm going to be a little cautious. Then we get to like the squat machine and he's doing pauses like buried 4 inches below parallel. I'm like, oh yeah, taking it easy, huh? Cool.
Well, I was relatively lightweight, I was making it feel heavy.
But it was good. It was really good and it was fun. Plus just going down there, I mean, I was there for 27 hours from flight to flight.
Okay.
So it was quick. We hit the ground. Ron wasn't even there when I got there. So I hit the ground, went to the hotel, literally changed my clothes, went right to my favorite restaurant alone. I didn't have time to wait for any of my friends. I'm like, whatever, I'm going to eat. Went and ate some food. And then I had Tommy meet me at a cigar bar so I could wind down the night. And then I did what we always do, run into Ron at a hotel somewhere in the world different than either of us live. Yeah. And the fun began.
Yeah, it was a good time. I had a great day that day and, real happy about the workout. And also too, like, I'm way past the pressure of, like, I remember the first several seasons, the pressure was on to like have these ridiculous workouts on camera. Like if I normally, lifted the 140s, I wanted to use the 140s on camera, like that sort of stuff. But I finally got, veteraned enough and smart enough to realize that like the way the videos are edited, like all the workouts look hard.
Okay, but hold on a minute. Hold on a minute, because I'm going to tell you right now, I was surprised. So first of all, the Mutant on a Mission from West Coast Iron came out. I got to watch that the other day. We played it on the TV. We got these new blinds installed, and we had to like, so we have this curtain that's like right above the picture window, and Victoria wanted that curtain up 2 inches. So we had to take the whole thing down and drill new holes and move the whole bar 2 inches. Our project. But anyway, while we're doing that, I put the new West Coast Iron Mutant on a Mission on. So I got to watch it. It was cool to see the way they edited it together and stuff, the final piece. But having been there in person, and this was the long-winded point I was getting at, Dusty pushed you on that, Ron. Like, you went hard, dude. I mean, you guys both went hard, but I was surprised, honestly, being there in person. Like, I know that on that T-bar row, like, you gave literally everything you had. There's no question in my mind. That was a brutal set.
Yeah, that was
So we're not fake. I want the listeners to know that.
Different.
Okay. Yeah, because it's not like fake plating. You know what I mean? That was a real workout.
No, I always do what I can. That was definitely like doing T-bar rows with Dusty. I said to myself, I have no excuses. I slept in my own bed last night. I didn't get off a plane. You know what I mean? I had my normal meals at my normal time. I drank my normal water. There's no reason why I can't put this many of these plates on and try to keep up with Dusty a bit. There's no reason why I can't do that. I'll survive. Yeah. That's my mentality on a set like that.
Okay.
But this was definitely a little bit of a more like, I'm going to be like super smart and like, just make sure that, we get through this. Cause I know that as long as I can just finish the workout with, as much effort as I can put out.
Yeah.
Nick and Con can edit the video to just look awesome. So, that pressure is relieved. There's still that personal pressure where you have like a standard,
Yeah.
But then there's also a certain amount that I've learned to like leave in their hands, I don't worry, I used to message and be like, hey, that one set of curls, like maybe don't use that set because I think I could have gone harder. But I realize now that like,
and they're probably really nice about it. And they're like, oh yeah,
it's not how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's
then
funny,
Dusty
they always
from
respond
home,
back with like, yeah, you were being a pussy. So
yeah. Don't worry. We weren't going to use that. It was terrible.
Yeah, we were definitely not using that. I was going to tell you, Ron, before you went to me going home, I did discover how old I am this trip because I caught an 11 p.m. flight home and I was only gone, like I said, for 20 some hours. So there was no adjusting to time. So I left Arizona essentially at 2 a.m. my time. flew back home, got in at like 6 a.m. I don't sleep on airplanes. So hit the ground at 6, drove back from Charlotte home by 7. And I told myself, like, all right, I just need to take like a nap essentially because I don't want to screw up tonight's sleep.
Yeah.
So I take a 2-hour nap. And I had a hangover like I was out drinking all night, all day long. I was like, how did I become so weak? I used to barely sleep every day. Now I get one night of 2 hours. And I was like, I don't remember a bender, but apparently there was one.
Right.
It was literally pathetic. I'm like, I cannot believe this. This is my life now. I'm that guy. I'm going to have to start telling old high school football stories for a team I didn't even play for.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally understand. You had like chronic sleep deprivation for like 15 years and you were fine.
Yeah, that's why it's so funny. I'm like, man, old me would be disappointed. That would have been considered a solid night. Like, great, 2 hours straight.
Yeah.
I closed my eyes on the plane.
Yeah, exactly. There was a couple long blinks. But I do have one more complaint to make if you don't sleep on airplanes. What you shouldn't do is train in the gym and then leave your AirPads in your gym bag and then pack them on the flight and not have them with you. I literally went through the airport. I looked in my bag. And I'm like, no AirPods.
You could have spent like $9,000 on a new pair at the airport, you know?
Guess what? I tried to. They didn't have them. I literally said to myself, I don't care. $100 more. I need these like oxygen.
Yeah.
I get on there and I'm like, they're like, do you have AirPods? No. Do you have Beats? No. Do you have anything that I could refi a house for to buy?
Yeah.
And she's like, they don't even have the conversion cable to put into an iPhone. They had nothing.
Huh. That's crazy.
The universe was against me. It was terrible. So I guess that's why I started drinking and don't remember.
Yeah. So maybe the drinking on the plane is the reason you felt terrible.
Yeah.
There must have been a lot of alcohol. I don't remember. I have to check. Actually, what was funny though, because I was awake, the guy next to me drank 5 double bourbons on the flight.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, and they kept bringing them. But the thing is, I would have brought him to him too. He was like, excuse me, ma'am. He's like 4 deep. When you get a chance, can I get another double? She's like, sure. And I'm like, how are you not hammered? I was getting buzzed from the smell.
Yeah.
I think that's probably why I had a hangover.
You're getting a fume high.
That's how little I drink. I mean, literally, I'm watching this guy. I wanted to high five him. I'm like, you're a machine alcoholic. Good job.
He drank so many that your breath smelled like bourbon.
Yeah,
exactly. I got home. Nikki was like, what the fuck's going on? I'm like, it was the guy next to me. She's like, that sounds terrible. I'm like, good point.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well,
so,
I'm glad you made Texas, Ron. What's that?
You went to Texas. On to Texas now.
Oh, yeah. That was just
we're moving on.
Long, massive nothing.
Dusty's
You're
home,
in Texas now.
Dusty's home, and I get on a different plane, and I fly to Dallas.
That's a long week.
And, stay in the hotel for a night at the airport, and then the next day I have a rental car, so we drive out to Longview, Texas.
Okay.
And we go see Mike at Iron Asylum Gym in Longview, and shot an episode there. And that was a great way to finish the trip. Like the thing about Nick and Con were really happy with the trip because all 3 gyms were completely different. So they got to shoot, because they really love making the episodes and, editing and stuff. And so they were just really happy. They have 3 completely different gyms, Dennis Wolf's backyard. Then they got Muscle Factory, which is sort of like a new school hardcore gym. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we got Iron Asylum, which was at this classic, like massive warehouse gym. You know what I mean? And he's at 20,000 square feet there.
Wow.
With 68 leg pieces.
No, well, leg pieces alone, huh?
Yeah, and that doesn't include squat racks or Smith machines. So just leg pieces. He's got 68 leg pieces. He's got 38 chest pieces. So, like, that gives you an idea. It's just a sea of equipment, and every single piece is different.
Yeah,
every single piece is like that piece. Like there's a Nautilus Nitro pull down. Yeah, and next to it is a Flex Leverage pull down. And then next to it is, you know what I mean? And just on and on and on. And just got everything in there.
That's wild.
Some of the leg pieces, like some of those really hard to find, like collector's pieces. He's got an H squat, and he's got the old pendulum, like the swing squat type of stuff, and just all sorts of cool shit. He's got 2 Paramount pendulums side by side, and he's got them facing opposite directions. And I go, oh, why do you have them facing opposite directions? That's just for plates? And he goes, no, it's so you can get in it with your partner and challenge each other and talk shit. Like, you know what I mean? Oh, is there something wrong with my sound? Scott sending me a text?
No.
Oh.
No,
I saw you typing and I couldn't hear anything.
No, I just got a text from my dad. And he sent me a message. So I looked at it and I was saying to myself, should I respond to this or not? Somebody had emailed him and he says, what is this? And it's a PDF of it saying it's an invoice from PayPal for buying Bitcoin. And I'm like, oh God, Dad, I'm thinking to myself at the moment, don't pay it. Whatever you do, don't pay that. And I'm listening to you at the same time. So
definitely
I didn't realize I dismantled the entire show by looking at that. I thought you were texting me. I saw my phone go off. I was like, oh shit, what's going on? What's Ron and Dusty saying behind the scenes? And I looked, it was my dad.
That's funny. Well, definitely let him know not to buy that.
I will. I'll tell him.
It was just one of those. See, I can't hear Dusty. That's the problem. Dusty's sound is off.
I had to mute myself. I forgot the dogs were barking. I got excited and I kept talking. But yeah, tell him not to open that link.
I thought I lost your sound. So yeah, anyways, tons of equipment there. And, Mike was awesome. Mike and his wife, Nicole, they showed us around and, just great gym. We had a chest workout. I used 2 pieces that I've never used before ever. So that doesn't happen very often. You know what I mean? So, that's cool. Anytime I can do that, it makes for an interesting trip and it sort of, puts the gym in like a category. I'm like, oh, I got, had a surprise for me, which is nice. So yeah. And then just cruised back to the hotel. It's 2 hours from Longview to Dallas, drove back to the hotel and caught the morning flight home.
And that was, when did you get home? What day?
Sunday at noon.
So you got back yesterday from the time we record. And what day did you leave for the trip?
Left Wednesday night to Vegas.
Okay. So basically we recorded and then like a day and a half later, you left and you're literally just getting home now. Pretty much. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was good. A lot of fun. Captured 3 great gems. Should be 3 good episodes. 3 unique gym owners, 3 unique gyms. That's what I like, sometimes we'll shoot a few gyms and I'm like, oh, these gyms are all awesome. They're great episodes. But these gyms happen to be similar. It would have been nice to maybe like time them different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is cool. We can just have them come out 3 in a row. We won't have to worry about what order or anything like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, good stuff.
Well, I was pumped to see my face.
Spray tan.
Did you really?
That was the joke. Actually, training with Dennis on Thursday. There was a really cold wind.
Yeah.
And so we were in the backyard, right? And there was like kind of a cold desert wind, And so we had our hoodies on, and we got about halfway through the workout, and I was like, "Well, I went and got spray tan for this. I got to go sleeveless." So I told Dennis, I said, "The hoodie's coming off," and he just laughed. He's like, "Yeah, do what you got to do."
That's funny. I was going to say I was pumped. I was pumped because I saw my face in the background of a couple scenes of the West Coast Iron one. So I feel like I'm officially in Mutant in a Mission now. I can put that on my resume.
In the background. You're not just in the background. There's like a real shot of you, like, you got your Nirvana t-shirt on and everything. Well, funny thing is they asked me, give us all the name tags for everyone that's in the episode.
Yeah.
So, I gave him like my partner's name tags, my name tag, Dusty, just to make sure they're all spelled right. I do that to make sure they're all properly spelled and they know exactly what's going on.
Okay.
But I didn't realize that there was that clip of you.
Okay.
Like if I would have seen the episode before I gave him the tags, I would have put your tag in there.
Oh, so you screwed, what you're saying is you screwed me. You screwed me out of,
didn't write me.
I want credit. All right. Can we tell them about what's coming up?
Yes.
Yes.
So April 8th. Well, I leave on the 8th. I don't know when everyone else leaves, but on April 8th, I'm going to Europe. I'm shooting two episodes of Mutant on a Mission. I got Rebecca Andrews shooting them and editing them for us. So she's going to make these 2 episodes. Yeah, she's great. So she shot everybody in the European bodybuilding scene. So she's going to shoot the first episode with me up. Actually, I don't want to say where yet. And then the second one she's going to do with me. There's 3 gyms in Europe that I really want to go to because they're great guys, and I want to try to get there, but I just couldn't make it happen this trip. So there's plenty of potential for some episodes out of Europe, but it's just really hard with that FIBO trip to try to make.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, and then after I'm done the second episode, I'm going to Cologne for FIBO, and
I'm coming with
Scott's coming.
I'm excited for this. This is crazy. This is going to be wild.
I'm going to meet you at FIBO in Cologne, Germany, and we're going to hang out at FIBO.
That's going to be wild. I hope that we can get some of our listeners to show up. In fact, I want to say right now, if you're going to FIBO, then you should especially comment on this episode, because I'm going to kind of get a vibe for who's going to be there. That'll be cool. That'll give us a chance, or at least me a chance, to meet some people that we've had as listeners that I've never met before, which is going to blow my mind. That's going to be cool.
Yeah. And I want to make sure everyone who even if you're tired of meeting me every year at FIBO, if you haven't met Scott yet, probably haven't. He's never been over there.
Yeah.
So this is your chance, and the more of you that come down to meet Scott, that's going to be the better for Scott and better for the show. Yeah. And that means Mutant's going to keep wanting to take him places and all that. So let's keep Scott on the road. This is my come down to see Scott at the booth call. So
I like that. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So let's do that. So everyone come down and say hi, and we'll get some photos. Now, unfortunately, Dusty's not going to be there this year, right?
Nope. Yeah, won't be coming to FIBO this year. Staying close to home with my mother's sickness. I didn't want to be out of the country. So the good news is, though, Jamie the Giant has no difficulty in having some fun, getting on the podcast. So stoked that he will jump in and hopefully not permanently replace me, just part-time, but we'll see.
No,
it could really go either way. But
I think Dusty, even though he could be far better than you in every foreseeable situation,
definitely better looking.
I think that the scheduling of his overseas time zone sort of prevents him from stealing your job.
Ooh, that's probably the only thing. Jeez.
It's one technical issue. He
goes moving, I'm screwed immediately because the 4 boxes just doesn't look as good. I like the vertical 3. It's just better. Yeah, I was actually laughing because George said this thing. He's like, "Do you think it'll be okay?" And I'm like, well, it wouldn't be okay if Scott wasn't there, but if I'm not there, it's gonna be fine.
It's like it comes down to you see, Ron and I, we don't know any of the buttons. So if Ron's not there, we can slug through. If I'm not there, Jamie's pretty funny. But if Scott's not there, there's no show.
Well, we have to get tech stuff. We have to order it from over there because, remember for the Arnold. So what I took Victoria's SUV down because I couldn't fit everything in the Mini Cooper. And I don't know if you guys knew that I drive a Mini. So
I love that you have a Mini and that you have those god-awful Crocs. But go ahead.
It says I'm confident. You know what I'm saying?
Minis are cool. Minis are cool.
So anyway, I literally had the luggage cart for the hotel was completely full of, one suitcase and then all the equipment. Obviously, I can't take that on a plane. So we contacted the venue and George said, here's the list for everything, that they have to offer. And they were offering like crazy stuff, like like these multi-screen plasma televisions where they have like 16 90-inch TVs all linked together, you know? I'm like, we just needed a couple speakers and a PA system. So we messaged and I was like, hey, this is what we're looking for. And they're like, oh, we're sorry. We're sold out of all of that stuff. I was like, oh, shit. So we started looking around and George found a place and I found a place. And I reached out to Roman Fritz even. I was like, Roman, you've got to know, because Roman knows everybody in Germany, right? I was like, Roman, do you know anybody that has some sound equipment? Like, I imagine Roman has to know somebody who's doing like some sort of like deep German techno or something like that. You know what I mean?
right. Anything that's like
Speaker City.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Roman will know him.
He's got to know a guy. So he put the word out as well. But I think we might have found a place that has the equipment we need. So technically, they could just hire that guy to set it all up. I wouldn't have to be. You guys don't need to hit the buttons. You just, you can cut me out that way. There's right no there.
Buttons to hit. We're good.
You're good. Okay. You're good without me. But yeah, it looks like. But that was kind of like an oh crap moment. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of like they invited me to come out, and then all of a sudden there was a moment of like, oh wait, there's no equipment for you guys to do what you want to do. But there's always a way to work around that stuff. You know, somebody's got something out there. We can make it work. But hey, if any of our listeners have a PA system, let me know.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
So you've never been to Europe, right?
I went to England last year.
Oh yeah, you went to England last year, right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. But I've never been to like, I don't know. Do you consider the UK Europe? Because I consider it the UK and Europe. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's part of the continent of Europe.
Yeah.
It's considered, you know, even though they're not part of, you know, European Union anymore. It's when you look at the continent of Europe, it includes the UK. So
I just always consider them their own thing. But yeah, I got a chance to go to England with Fit Expo last year, and so this will be my first time ever going to, like, we'll say, into what I would consider to be like a place where you can use a euro. We'll put it that way.
Right. Yeah. That's sort of how I look at it now. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I've always felt like England wasn't quite Europe.
I don't know if I made a mistake. Yeah. I don't know if I made a mistake, but I was like, I've never been here before. So I asked if I could stay for a couple extra days, and that way I can look around. And by the way, if there's any listeners that are going to be there, anybody who's from Cologne, I would love a tour, you know, like go see some cool stuff for a day. But I'm afraid that I'm going to like get lost on the way to the airport now, because get this, the way this is set up, I'm going to have to take a train to the airport. So
I'm not flying to. Where are you flying from?
I can't remember exactly. I can't. I can't
flying
remember.
To Frankfurt?
I think that I'll take a train to Frankfurt and then fly out from there. And I think it's all connected, but it's like a real tight time schedule. And from what people have told me, it's like a lot of times, like I don't speak German, and they're not necessarily always going to just come out and speak English, and the signs aren't going to be in English. Yeah. So there's a little bit of apprehension in the back of my head. It'll be good.
Essentially, for the most part, their train system is pretty idiot proof.
Okay. Well, that helps me then.
If you just make sure you're not late. You know what I mean? Like just get to the point. You know, it's pretty like, I've used the trains in Europe a bunch of times, and it could be a little overwhelming at first because some of the stations, there's these big digital screens and everything's just going, but you kind of like just take a minute and you're like, okay, Frankfurt, there we go. And you just, you know what I mean? Just sort of take a minute.
Look for words you understand. That's all you need.
Right.
Yeah. Words you can read. That's all you need. So, but it's a lot of fun. And I think staying a few days is probably a good idea because there's, you know, I mean, you're right literally in the center of like you could go anywhere from Cologne.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? You could hop on a train and go to Belgium for a day. You could do anything you want.
That's crazy.
You know, you can you can get anywhere on a train and back in the same day pretty much. Like that's how it feels, you know, when you're in Europe.
Well, I feel like we'll probably be inundated with FIBO in the expo, and so if it's anything like Columbus or going to Vegas is right in the middle of a bunch of stuff, so you can see other things. But I feel like it will be a lot of bodybuilding expo, and it would be easy to go in, do all that, and then fly out, and then be like, wait, I didn't really see anything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I do.
You could also you could go up to Berlin and, see where the wall used to be. Like, that's supposed to be pretty interesting. That whole, like, there's chunks of the wall that I think are still up. Like, they just didn't topple them. They just, built around them or whatever.
Yeah.
But you can just go have a look. Like, that's supposed to be pretty interesting. I loved Hungary.
Yeah.
When I went to Budapest, that was unbelievable. I don't know how far that would be on a train, but if you're staying for a couple extra days, you could see almost anything if you had a couple extra days. But obviously you want to relax too, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay.
Anyway, it'll be cool. It'll be
fun.
And I'll look forward to hearing.
So
from
make
my
sure
listeners.
you come and say hi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What's up next? We got some listener questions, don't we?
We do.
Yes.
We had a handful here. What was this one? Okay. Yeah, so we might have talked about this a little while ago, but this would be a fun one, and I think a lot of people wanted to hear us bring it back up. Michael says, one topic that is rarely talked about is gym clothing. I've been training for 38 years and always had certain shirts and sweatpants for different body parts. It has to fit and hang a certain way, depending on rowing, pushing, and definitely quad day. Could never get a maximum workout with a tank top and shorts. Any thoughts, fellas?
I totally agree. I was very if I'm training back, I would have shirts I trained back in. If I was training chest, I had chest shirts. Like, I was the same way. Leg day pants, leg day shirts. I had all those same things, you know what I mean? And it just totally, big part of it is moving. Like, you don't want to wear the wrong shirt on back day, because then you go to do pull downs and it's like too short.
Yeah.
And it just irritates you because it comes up too high. You know what I mean? Like, there's just a bunch of stuff that would bother the shit out of me. And if you're going to put a belt on, you don't want to then not be able to reach up because your shirt's tight. You got to pull it up and all that stuff. And then for leg day, I just wanted to be covered because I felt like my upper body just didn't want to see anything. It was just all about legs. I didn't want to have my arms exposed or anything on leg day. It was just covered totally. So that's just how I always was. Baggy sweatpants on leg day and never wore shorts. It was always about baggy as possible. If I ever wore shorts, they were like those long old school gasp ones. It was like almost like 3/4 pants, and that's just how I liked it. Now I sort of like a normal t-shirt now. I sort of just train in like a normal, like tri-blend t-shirt most of the time because that feels good now, but that my body's a lot different now, right? Like, I'm not stretching 3X shirts and stuff. I just feel a lot better in just normal t-shirts for the most part.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to add. It's the exact same thing. The only difference to anything is everyone knows I always wear real baggy clothes, but leg day is even baggier. Leg day is the 5XL t-shirt day. Like, that thing is hanging down past my hamstrings, like completely covered up. And I do really like long, it's a short sleeve shirt, but long sleeves. Like, I don't want to see my elbow when I'm training legs. I don't need that kind of nudity in my life. I need to be covered up. But yeah, the baggy shirts are key for leg day for whatever reason. I think the same thing because I can there's no thinking. Like, when I'm in the gym training legs, the only thing I want to think about is what I'm doing, and like you said, like I've tried like even putting on like a decent fitting shirt to train because I'm like, well, this will look better for video if I train in like a 3XL, because 3XLs to me are still really tight, but they look good. And I'm like, all right, I'll train in that. I get to the gym and I'm like, I cannot believe I did this. This thing is all over me. I'm trying to move. I can feel it, like, because your shoulders are actually too wide for a 3XL. So they're not fitting right. Then when you move, it's like pulling on, you're like, this is a disaster. So I go homeless to the gym, call it a day, and that's it. And if you see me in a tank top, it's because we're filming something. Like, I've never been somebody who wants to, even outside the gym, like walk out of my house in a tank top. I'm like,
right.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
It's not my thing.
I don't want to touch upholstery. I don't want my skin on my back.
That's the worst.
Shoulders,
yeah.
To touch upholstery or seats or couches or anything.
I've got some shorts that like the shorter shorts, and I don't like them for training for that reason, because you sit down on like a leg extension and then you stick to the vinyl. That's no good.
I fucking hate that. This is my first F-bomb of the day.
Oh, it was like your third or fourth, but don't worry about it. YouTube's lightening up a little bit, but that doesn't mean that you should lighten up too. We're doing good. We're doing real good.
You did solid. Today was good. Even Scott dropped an S, so we're good. We're good.
Did I? I try not to. But
Yeah.
There we go.
Sometimes you get pulled in by peer pressure. You know, bad examples.
It'd be funny if YouTube finally messaged us and they're like, "Hey, listen, you guys, thanks for the effort on the swearing, but we really never even cared about that. It was always just Dusty."
Yeah.
It was just Dusty in general. Before you, now that Jamie's on, say whatever you want.
Yeah, guys, enough. Yeah.
All right. What about like? What about like? Yeah,
I still miss the days when I was huge and we used to wear the boat neck shirts with the traps.
Yeah.
And you train back or delts that day so that your traps would be pumped. And we have maximum pump traps just sticking up like giant, giant mountains beside your head. Yeah, that was my favorite. That was my favorite
also,
era
when you were
gym clothing ever.
Remember when you were in shape too, though, because you could see your pec.
Yeah,
sticking out.
Yeah,
V right here, that V that comes down
up here where your collarbone was.
Oh yeah. That's a good look.
For a
Dennis
while,
James was the king of that outfit.
Yeah,
he was.
Dennis James was the king of the boat neck.
Oh man, with the pecs and the traps. Ugh.
So like the Dusty look, the real loose clothing, that went away for a while. I feel like for some people, it's come back. There was a period of time, like 5-6 years ago, that nobody wore loose clothes anymore, and I feel like it's like the JP crowd kind of brought that back, and I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. I sort of saw it as like the baggy clothes were getting pushed out, and then a handful of super hardcore guys were like, "I'll hold on to this."
Yep.
And it's just enough to like, the tide comes back a little bit, and then it like, you're okay. You still kept it, I
used to get messages. I'd get DMs on that, Ron. People would be like, where'd you get those pants? And I'm like, oh, I got them in 2001 is where I got them. You can't get them anymore, bro. It's 2015. You're out of here.
Yeah.
I do notice that there's more guys at my gym because, we got a lot of young members. So I see like the fashion, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, so like, the joggers, like the sweatpants with the ankle elastic, they became more popular. They came back, right? And I actually didn't mind that. I like an ankle elastic, but I still want it to be like a sweatpant.
Okay.
Yes. And then they got tighter and tighter, and then they became like almost like fitted joggers.
Yes.
And everyone was wearing those. But now there's a bunch of guys at my gym now that are wearing like the open bottom gas pants again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's settled down a little bit.
You know what my problem is with the joggers, the tight joggers, is they look great on the people they were made for, like 160 pounds. Like, it looks awesome. But here's what bothers me. Someone with huge legs wears them and their legs look small. I don't know why. Like, I will be like, I know that guy. His legs still look small in those. I can't deal with that because you're usually still in like a bigger shirt.
Oh,
you got these things on that make your legs look small, but they're not. I mean, I'm talking like guys whose legs are better than mine have ever been in my entire life, and their legs look small.
Yeah,
they don't flatter. They don't flatter most people's legs.
You have to wear like an equally tight shirt to be proportionate, I guess, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem. Which, by the way, I had that when we were. Go ahead.
I was just saying, unless the small waist unless the taper is also showcased with a tight shirt, you don't see any of the legs.
Yeah, it's terrible. Because there was a guy at the gym one day that I know, and I looked over, I tapped Nikki. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. Because he's in there all the time in shorts. Yeah. And she's like, oh, man. Like, his legs look small. Not like small. Like, bro, you need to train your legs. Right. So I can't have that. It's bad enough, It's bad enough to be retiring and have somebody think you have freaking flamingo legs. It's no good. What else we got, Scott?
The coolest look for me is when a guy can wear like Nike joggers and they're just the right pair of joggers for him. And the quads and the calves are just like stretching them out. And then the knee is still tight where his knee is. So you see like the crazy, like,
that's a good look.
If a guy can, like my business partner Ditto, he's got these Nike Jordans and he just pulls them up like halfway up his calves and they look like they're just going to like explode. Yeah. And then he just walks around like that.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Fuck, dude, stop.
He's looking huge, by the way. I told him that, and I want to get him on the show. If we don't get him on this show, I want to get him on another show, or just something with the network.
We can get him on the show. Yeah, he'd also be good on. He'd also be good on
Blood, Sweat, and Gear
or whatever. Like he'd be good on. Yeah, he'd be good.
Okay. Yeah. We should, because I'll tell you, man, that I saw him in 2019. That's when I first met him, just kind of in passing. Coming to the gym and stuff. You pointed him out to me, and I saw him again, obviously, on this last trip, and just the amount of size that he's gained. Like he really came into his own. It would be really cool to talk to him about like what had he done in that period of time.
Yeah,
growth.
For sure. Yeah,
lots of growth.
That's the answer. All right, we've got a guy we need to save here. He really needs our help. Okay, he says his name is Steven. Steven says, question for the podcast. I work a normal full-time job, and I usually get in my protein nutrient intake with 4 meals and snacks / shakes. I've been cutting, but now I plan to go into a full-on bulk cycle. He says, what are your thoughts on the GOMAD diet, the gallon of milk a day, for getting those extra calories / protein?
I don't see the convenience of drinking a gallon of milk versus eating those calories from something else. Well, you know what I mean? Like literally, if I think of like the calories.
What's he doing? Is he doing, what type of milk is he drinking?
It's got to be whole milk for it to matter.
Yeah,
skim milk isn't going to give him like anything. 2% at least.
I worry about his lactose intake, and I worry about whoever has to sleep next to him most, or train next to him, or work next to him at his full-time job.
That would essentially be like the main thing. Like if he's one of those people that just tolerates lactose, like fine, like they are out there, and doesn't like have any problems, he might be able to just drink a gallon of milk a day. And I mean, I remember when I used to eat like 3 giant bowls of cereal a day as a kid,
Yeah.
And I probably was drinking half a gallon of milk, and I was fine, so he might be fine. But yeah, I mean, if he's one of those people that has, any issue, that's going to add up pretty quick. But at the end of the day, it's just carbs, proteins, and fats. I mean, how much does a gallon of milk cost? How much does it cost to make, drink something else that has those same, like drink the same amount of macros of something else? It really doesn't matter. It's just all the grams of carbs, fats, and protein. But there is the digestive distress element because it's milk. So that would be my main hang-up.
It'd be a lot.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of milk every day. Imagine going to the grocery store for that too in your basket, because you have 7 gallons of milk. 7 gallons. It's a lot in your fridge. You know what I mean? It's a lot to store.
Yeah. That's a lot of milk.
I mean, it got to be like, you could do shakes. I mean, if he's eating, how many meals did he say he was eating a day? 4 meals and snacks / shakes. So like Dusty said, what if he just adds a 5th meal in, I mean, that in itself is going to, you could keep that clean and, whatever.
What is there's like 8 grams of protein in a cup, right? There's 4 cups in a liter. So it's 32. And then there's 4 liters in a gallon. So there's like, 128 grams of protein in a gallon of milk.
It's 4 scoops of protein.
He could get that some other way, and then it would just be sugar and fat. That's all that's, So whatever he wants to do with those macros. But yeah, let's, does he live with someone?
That's my problem with that route is you can't determine the other macros. You know what I mean? So like you said, you're accepting sugar you probably don't want. So why not just get the fats, get the protein, and call it a day, or at least have control. Because that's the other thing is if you're suddenly bulking, I hate that word anyways, because when someone says they're bulking and then they come up with the idea they're going to bring in a gallon of milk, I'm like, okay, is your goal to get fat? You're shooting the calories up enormously all of a sudden. I mean,
there you go.
Start with 500 calories.
Just 100. I mean, come on, like boom. Just in protein, think about how much that is.
Ooh, we have a guest.
We got a
show
ended by.
We've got it's already a guest time. We've got to close this episode out. Bring our guest in, I guess.
Okay.
Which they will have already seen.
Watch the farts. That's the advice. Watch the farts.
There it is.
Okay. Yeah. They will have already seen.
We got to wrap up this show.
Yeah. I guess
wrap up the show. Is that what you're saying?
And they already saw the guest because this is Saturday, right? So
Right. Okay. So we got to wrap up because we have to go back in time and do Wednesday's interview. So like, share, subscribe, comment, and
ring the bell.
Remember, IamMutant.com. Mutant supports the show. We support Mutant. So IamMutant.com. Use your code BigRon20 or Dusty20 for 20% off. Get on IamMutant.com. Get the gear. Get on the gear. Get the all-in. Try the ISO Surge, the best tasting protein there is.
Better than milk.
And also
better than milk. Yeah.
Far better than milk. Tell them to buy a bag of Mutant.
Get it with milk.
It's made with all whole foods now. It's all real food ingredients.
There you go.
There you go. Get some Mutant Mass. Get on IamMutant.com. Get some Mutant Mass. Big Ron 20. Dusty 20. Scott, the Patreon, supporting Think Big Bodybuilding Network. Get on the Patreon, couple bucks a month. That's all it would require to, just support Scott's efforts over at Think Big. Thank you very much,
I appreciate everybody
Scott.
who does. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. Thank you. It's just bodybuilding.